You guys want to see really quick? So here's Miranda's selfie right here, and you can see the woman clearly standing behind her there. And it was only her and the male tour guide upstairs here, so there wasn't another woman.
Wow, that's so cool.
Alright, you guys, so I'm going to take you to one of the most haunted areas in the building next. We're going to the 3rd floor. Follow me right this way.
Might take me a minute to get up here.
Oh, it's all good. Take your time.
Yeah, take your time. I can't breathe, so.
It's just broken. It's only a head broken.
Kill you guys? Is it that elevation mixed like
Yes.
walking up this? Yeah.
Oh,
It takes a long time for people to get used to elevation up here.
Anywhere.
took me months to get used to the elevation in Tahoe. Oh. Oh. Oh, so
Just
cool.
bow down this way for me. Thank you.
Oh, man.
So do you guys remember earlier on the tour how I said we had our fair share of tragedies here in the 1980s? Well, there was a man by the name of Scotty and his 14-year-old boy that used to live here in their apartment from the year 1979 to the year 1982. Well, one day Scotty's 14-year-old boy and another little boy went racing each other in a small town called Silver City, when unfortunately the two boys fell down a mine shaft about 1,000 feet and perished to their deaths. This drove Scotty to pure insanity over the course of the next couple of years. He took to heavy drinking and depression, and on June 2nd, 1982, Scotty took a gun to his head in this very room and pulled the trigger. Now, I'm very sympathetic about that because that is not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, but from time to time, people hear Scotty pacing back and forth in his room. They'll hear him mumbling or talking, or in extreme cases, he likes to stand at the top of the stairway there and watch people come up. I have also experienced that myself, being a seasoned paranormal investigator, and really growing up in this town, you see a lot of crazy stuff. And I'm sure you guys could also tell we have all sorts of dollies, toys, and trinkets. That's because our friend Gretchen from downstairs loves to come up here and play with her toys. However, Gretchen isn't the only little girl that haunts the Washoe Club. There's another little girl here by the name of Ella Elizabeth Dolly Dean. For short, you guys can call her little Ella Dean, and she would have lived upstairs here in the year 1873 with her mother. One of the biggest gifts you can give to spirit is music, you guys. So I'm going to wind up the little music box here, and I'm going to see if our kid ghosts want to come out and play while I tell Ella Dean's story. And in 1873, when Ella Dean and her mother were living up here, on the other side of the wall lived a man by the name of Jacob von Bocklin. This Jacob man liked to collect all sorts of exotic animals. Well, he even had his very own pet monkey. You want to know what else he liked to collect? Explosives. Nitroglycerin. And what happens when you put a monkey and explosives together? It doesn't really pan out for anybody too well involved. Early on the morning of June 29, 1873, this monkey kicked over the nitroglycerin, causing a chain reaction, killing 12 people, one of the most brutal explosions on the Comstock. There were body parts out in the streets, including Jacob's torso and pocket watch. Ella Dean and her mother, alongside with the other explosion victims, you guys, still roam our halls to this day. Well, on a very much lighter note, though, you guys, if you look right over here, this moose head is from a wild weekend I had in Cancun. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I can dream.
Yeah.
And if you guys actually look right over here, we have an old 1800s potty chair, and we also have a heater here where they heat up their kettles and whatnot. It isn't original to the building, however, this is period accurate to what they probably would have used up here in the 1800s. Do you guys have any questions?
Oh, this is just too cool.
Yeah, I love this town and I love my buildings.
I wish I came up here more often.
And if you guys follow me right this way, I'm going to take you to meet my 161-year-old doll next. Her name is Little Betty, and she really would prefer it if you guys would say hello to her when you enter her room. I hope you guys like haunted dolls.
Not after Annabelle.
Hi, Betty. I brought you some new friends.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Betty. Hello, Betty.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Hello, Betty.
She likes the attention.
She's beautiful.
So this is little Betty. She's 161 years old. Her birthday's actually coming up. She's about to be 162, so we're going to throw a little party for her. But basically, this doll is a vessel for a spirit, meaning there's an entity attached to the doll. How are we aware of this? Is because we know the lovely woman up here on the Comstock that helped to restore her. She was an old war nurse by the name of Betty, and that's how the doll got accustomed to its name, Little Betty. Well, little Betty sat in a shelf in her living room in her apartment for a few weeks there, and she noticed over time that the doll would exhibit some strange habits. She would constantly change positions on her after leaving, returning to the room. Picture frames got knocked off the wall in her living room, and this was the final straw for Betty, you guys. When she was sleeping soundly in bed until she was rudely awoken to whispering of footsteps coming from her living room, right where the doll was. And when she realized it was all coming from the doll, she brought the doll up here to the Washoe Club thinking, well, a haunted doll needs to be in a haunted building, and she's been here ever since. And to answer the question, I'm sure that it might have skimmed your minds by now, the answer is yes. I have seen the doll rock in the rocking chair many of times. Little Betty here responds very well to old ragtime piano music. That's why we put her in the old music room here to appease her and make her happy. Do you guys see how curved the wall is right here? The reason why it's like that was because when they would play their acoustics, the acoustics would bounce off the curved walls to make for great sound. And I know there's a stigma nowadays of all haunted dolls being evil, but I'm sure you, my darling little Betty here, isn't evil. She's just a little bit mischievous and playful. Besides, she's a real gumdrop in comparison to some of the dolls I have at home in my collection. Alright, you guys say bye to Betty. I'm going to take you to the 100-mile view room next, so please follow me right this way.
Bye, Betty.
Bye, Betty.
Oh, I love the wall. So curvy.
Can I have you file all the way in this room?
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
So you folks can actually see 100 miles out there in pure desert beauty. I really think the desert is a very spiritual place many people have not come to understand yet, unfortunately. And do you guys also see that large church right there? That was built by my favorite man on the Comstock, and I know I mentioned him briefly downstairs in the poker room. That is John Mackey. He had the world's largest silver shard in history.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
It's like it just got pulled.
Quickly becoming one of the wealthiest men in the world. So if you folks like high ceilings and Gothic architecture, I highly recommend you check out our stunning church. The stained glass windows on the inside were designed by his wife, Mrs. Mackey, another one of my favorite people up here on the Comstock. Sadly to say, she did not spend most of her time up here in Virginia City because the Wild West wasn't really a place for a fine lady. So she had a mansion out in Paris that she would spend most of her time in. Now, if you guys also want to see another phenomenal building, you can go see where John Mackey used to live down on D Street at the Mackey Mansion. It's ranked number 5, the most haunted in Nevada, featured on the Dead Files and the Ghost Adventures. The best part about it, if you folks take your tickets from up here down there, they'll knock $1 off admission price. But if you folks are brave enough to go check out the Mackey Mansion, please say hello to my shadow man for me.
Is that the cemetery over there?
It is. Nice. There's some really cool headstones out there. I really urge you to go check it out. Some of the headstones even have the cause of their death written on them, so it's pretty fascinating. And some of the headstones are even wooden from the 1800s. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that cemetery.
So what's the marks on the ceiling?
So the laceration marks on the ceiling, that's a funny story. Virginia City being Virginia City in the 80s, there was a drunk cowboy that came upstairs here with a bullwhip, and they started whipping the ceiling with the bullwhip. Yeah. Now I want to tell you guys about a famous prostitute here at the Washoe Club. Her name is Lena, the Lady in Blue. The reason why we call her the Lady in Blue is because she's very well known for sporting her iconic blue dress. Lena had many liaisons with very many different men, you guys, including married men. Well, this married man's wife and Lena got into heated tiff one night downstairs in the saloon, and I have no idea what Lena said to this other woman to make her so upset, but she picked up the glass bottle, smashed it in half, and stabbed Lena right in the neck. Now, from time to time, people see the Lady in Blue through our building, or they'll capture apparitions of her. What is her famous spiral staircase? Or if you guys are truly unlucky enough, you may come face to face with the lady in blue, and she just might stare you down. This is a 200-year-old jewelry box from Paris, France. It's about old enough to put Marie Antoinette's head in. Merry Christmas. There's that dark sense of humor again. Alright, you guys, now I'm going to take you to one of the most feared rooms in the world next for its spiritual attacks. It's known as the Red Room, otherwise known as Room 12. Right this way, you guys. We'll also be entering the old brothel section / the old miners' living quarters.
Ooh.
I'm just going to have you file all the way down to the last room there for me. Thank you. Now, I'm sure some of you can see this room has been painted red as a danger zone for a reason. That's because the entity in this room really does not discriminate who it attacks. It has attacked an 8-year-old little boy up to a 6-year-old woman. In fact, just about almost last year now, I had a gentleman in his early 20s take my tour here at the Washoe Club, and I don't mind it when people make jokes here and there, because I certainly do, but if you're going to go as far as being disrespectful to the deceased in this building, that is where I put my foot down and ask you to stop. However, this young gentleman refused to do so, so we had to pay the price. As soon as he crossed the threshold into the doorway here in front of 15 other witnesses, we all watched this guy. He did not touch himself. He started screaming and crying, "Ow, ow, ow, my back's burning, my back's burning." We lifted up the back of his shirt, and sure enough, you guys, there were claw marks down his back. I actually have the photo to show you. You guys are like, of course you do.
That's expected now. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Spirit got a little gnarly in this room.
Don't be rude.
The entity in this room has also been known to get so aggressive, so much so to slam the door so hard here on multiple occasions. You can actually see where it started to split here on the side. The number 12 used to be in that vacant space right there, but that went flying off the door one day and landed in the center of the room. We have since put it on the windowsill. As you can tell, though, it's no longer there, though, because somebody stole it. However, I do pity the poor fool because there's one rule. You do not steal from the deceased because they will, in fact, follow you home. Now, I'm going to give you folks a few theories to what could be in our red room here. You can all kind of leave the red room with your own interpretation. All of them are terrifying in their own way, so you're welcome. You might be sleeping with the lights on tonight. The first theory is the trench coat man. The trench coat man is said to be a 6-foot-tall figure with a long black duster and a cowboy hat. He is said to prey on young women and children in particular. The second theory in this room being in the 80s and 90s from the amount of Ouija boards, seances, and various other rituals that were played in this room over the span of those 2 decades. Many paranormal enthusiasts, psychics, and witches alike from around the globe believe it opened up a portal in this room, allowing anything in here at that point. And the last theory, you guys, which I've honestly had my own experiences with and I do firmly believe haunts this building and this room, is an entity by the name of the Keeper. The reason how it is claimed this name is because it is known as the Keeper of Souls, and all of our paranormal investigators, including my best friend, which is a voodoo priestess, have described this thing to be the exact same way. It's got creepy web fingers and claws that it uses to attack people with, and it really certainly does not like people in this room for very long, so I will be showing you out now.
Go ahead.
Do you guys have any questions? Alright. Well, we're going to go downstairs now. Our tour is not done yet, though. I'm going to take you through the old crystal bar, show you some photos. We're going to go see our famous spiral staircase in our crypt, a few haunted objects exclusive to my tour, and I'd be happy to answer any lingering questions that you folks have. Alright, follow me right this way.
Yeah. Staring broken ankle. Thanks. Oh, I love it here. And I would live here if I could. Oh, almost. Oh, it's so cool. All right, there we go. Ow. Oh. Ooh. Oh.
So you're planning on eventually going back home to your home state? Oh, gotcha. Oh, happy birthday! Well, thank you for stopping in our little town. I appreciate it.
Sorry.
Doing alright?
Yeah, it's just this broken ankles drive me insane.
Those stairs are a pain.
Oh, they're my mortal enemy.
Alright, you guys, follow me right this way. We're going on to the old Crystal Bar. If you guys look right here, you can see the snow comparison to those men, so there was no burying our dead here during the winter times. And then you can see right here, this is from the old 1898 bathhouse collapsing I was telling you so much about upstairs. And this is the sister chandelier to the one that fell down during that collapsing. Follow me right this way. Alright?
Yeah.
Hi, guys. I got a big tour group come through.
Excuse me. Oh, carpet.
So this is our famous spiral staircase that was featured on Ripley's Believe It or Not. The little secret I withheld from you folks on the tour, there is no screws or nails put into this bad boy. It is completely glued together and put together by wooden dowels. It was built by the Frenchman named Francois Washoe. So there's one here in the Washoe Club and one in a church in Santa Fe, New Mexico. You're staring at one of the two. This is also the infamous staircase that Lena, the lady in blue, is oftentimes caught hanging out on. I'm just gonna have you guys make your leisure exit out of the museum if you'd be so kind. Are you guys on my next tour?
No, we're gonna use the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Alright, right this way, you guys. I'm gonna show you pictures of Lena. If you guys look right here, you can see Lena's blue mist. She's either trying to come together here or disappear, one of the two. And then you can see Lena again here from head all the way down to her toes. And I am going to point out a few of my favorite objects here in our back museum for you. We've got some creepy haunted dolls here from the St. Mary's Hospital. They're always quite a bit of fun. And right here we have a photo honoring two very famous paranormal investigators. Their names are Mark and Debbie Constantino. They were really good friends with the Ghost Adventures crew. I unfortunately will not be going over specific details about what happened occurring to their death. If you really want to know, just look it up on Google. I'm sure it'll come right up. It's just a little bit exploited for my taste, and it's a little bit too soon. And if you guys look right over here, we have some of the Ghost Adventures memorabilia. We have Zach Baggins' t-shirt, Nick Groff's camera they used to catch the full body apparition with, and Aaron Goodwin's visor. And time for my favorite haunted object back here in the museum. This is a little girl's glass casket from San Jose, California. She would have been transferred to a burial casket. If you guys look close enough in the casket right here, you can see some of the roses from her funeral. Ever since this was placed here in the Washoe Club, we've seen an apparition of a little girl run up and down the red aisle here, and multiple on top of multiple women have come screaming out of the ladies' room here, saying they've seen a little ghost girl in our bathroom. These are also women who have not taken the tour either, so they do not know about the glass casket. And if you folks come forward this way, this is our mummified cat Stiffy. We found him dead in the wall here at the Washoe Club. It was a common belief in the 1800s, if you killed a cat and put it in the wall, it would keep away the evil spirits.
Poor kitty.
Now we're gonna go into the crypt.
Because
Excuse me,
inside,
you guys, I'm sorry. The dust is killing me today. This is Kevin. He didn't make it. So we're dug out a few feet into the ground right now. Sometimes this room gets so cold you can see your own breath. That is the second level platform where we're standing earlier looking down to the crypt. Sometimes mysteriously lots of dirt and pebbles get thrown down our guests without anybody else being upstairs at all. Also slightly off to the side right here is Scotty's room. If you guys are lucky enough, you may be able to hear Scotty pacing back and forth upstairs all on his own. And do you guys have any questions before we conclude our tour today?
Sorry,
It's all good.
I'm a klutz.
Well, if you guys love my tour, please leave me an awesome review on Google, TripAdvisor, and those other platforms. If you dislike my tour, my name is now Steve, and I was never here. Also, me and the ghosts do like to split the tips. They like their cigars too, you know. And like I said, if you guys are brave enough to check out the Mackey Mansion, the Wicked Witch of the West is doing tours down there today, a.k.a. my mother. You can tell her I said that. We like to give each other a hard time.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day, you guys.
You too.
See all that line on
Oh, yeah,
I
the
got-
orbs. Love it.
Oh, so glad I got a chance to do this today.
I like all the taxidermied animals in
Me
here.
too.
I was always that weird kid in high school that liked to pet them all night
The hotel has tried to have been renovated several times, but the ghosts that occupy it won't let that happen, so it sits abandoned. And Nick and I were to be padlocked inside for an entire night. In
Ah,
2001, the
Jesus,
Goldfield
that scared
Hotel
me.
was featured on Scariest Places on Earth, a documentary that aired on the Fox network. Psychics from all over the world claim that the seventh portal, or gateway to the spirit world, is located in the basement of its geographic basements.
Oh,
It houses more evil spirits.
this is so cool.
Red Roberts is the owner of the Goldfield Hotel in Rhode Island, of course.